So while we're waiting, I'll plug that into Texas. Tell me what year it is. Oh, it was a good one. It was a good one. That'll teach you to give me lip all day yesterday, you little... You're welcome. You're welcome. That needs to go in, by the way. That needs to go in the video. Like that high note. You probably hit that now, won't you? Oh. We're rocking and rolling, are we? Okay, so is this part 2, Max, or what? Part 2. Definitely part 2. Yep. Sure, part 2, yep. Not 1.5. Part 2. Okay. So, forks are back from Maxton. We absolutely love the Maxton stuff. They're local to us. They're good lads and girls. And yeah, knocked out the park with this one. So, forks are back in. Calipers are back on. Moving down. GYTR lock stop. So, reduced lock stop. So, that was a big. Literally stops lock. So, if you see here, these two cast blocks, that's your original lock stop, so that means how much you can turn side to side. This is obviously going on track permanently, and apparently they're known for having a little bit of slap, so they go lock to lock quite quick. So two of the main things that people do, obviously for ACU regs, a lock stop stops so much of a tank slapper happening. They can still happen, but this will reduce it greatly because you can't do this, you can only do this. But then the next big thing that we've put on here as well is fresh from the States. We now stock these GPR stern damper. Really like these. Some people think they're a little bit old school the way they look, but nice, neat, well made. Does the job, middle setting, but this allows us to, rather than having really light steering, you've now got a bit of resistance there. You can set that up to your preference, but again, keeping more control of the front end. Yes, so blue, black, gold, red. Yeah. So if you want one, give us a shout. They cover a large range. ABS emulator is down there, just got to neaten that up. ABS pump has been removed. Now, the customer hasn't asked us to get rid of the EVAP canister, which is a bit annoying because we could probably get rid of all this plate. So replace the ABS pump with that tiny little dongle there. So great bit of weight saving. You don't necessarily need that, as we said in the previous video, because you can just blank the pump off, but that's far better. So the only things left to do now are waiting for a bracket from Oland's for the remote adjuster and reservoir mount. He didn't have that, so he must have bought that shock second hand. I think we said that in the first video, so I've got that coming from Oland's. Obviously the Samco kit's on, that's all fitted, filled it up with distilled water. Just got to pop the tank on it, run it up, top that up. Stage 2 DNA filters already in there. Brakes have been bled, ABS deleters, we just said done, so the brakes are all bled up. So now it's then going to go onto the dyno. We'll run up on the dyno, check coolant level, get the mapping going. He's also fitted the OEM quick shifter, so that's loosely in position. I don't know if we covered that in the last video, but that's loosely in position, so we'll tweak that, set that all up, get that nice soon. That's just very roughly in place, all connected. Make sure that's functioning as it should. And then may put a Race Torx gear shift support on this for the more positive gear changes, just because all the front sprocket covers off, so we've got, might as well just get one on there. It's so easy to put on, so quick, and it's the best 50 odd quid you're going to spend in terms of your gear change to make it more positive, especially on track. You don't want to miss those gears. I think that's everything, isn't it, Max? That's pretty much where we're up to. So yeah, hopefully today, maybe tomorrow, probably be tomorrow, won't it? We're quite busy today. We'll get it on the dyno, top coolant up, get it mapped, quick shifter set up, shift support on. Customer can collect it because there's a bit of a lead time on the Oland's bracket, and we'll ship that out to him. I don't think I've missed anything. Can you? Nothing. That's everything, isn't it? So yeah, project is coming on nicely. Happy with it, very happy indeed.
Right, it's my go. Lots of stuff's been fitted. Things have been attached. We haven't done a base run on this, mainly because it all came to us with everything all stripped down. So we're kind of just going to dive into it a little bit more than we would do normally. But build it all back up, get the tank on, get it all strapped down, do the normal checks, even though it's been here for a bit already. We'll check everything over, do the chain, do the tyre, do the oil, do the water, do everything. Especially since it's obviously all had the Samco kit on, and now that we've ran it a couple of times, we may need to just make sure that it's purged itself of any air. So that's all good fun. And then we'll basically read the ECU off, get that original file on our file, and then we'll put our base map in there, and then we'll start the process of mapping and seeing what power we can get out of it. And then anything that needs fine tuning while we're doing all of that, we will do that too. So, let's go. Bet it'll snap. Making things louder. That is realistically what I'm doing right now. Because why? Ask silly questions. Get silly answers, sausage. No, so it's got quite a decent sized can, but I'm not even sure if this is, I'm guessing it's not going to be a road bike, it's got no headlights, so it's going to be just a track bike, and this is probably, because of the size of the can, it's probably going to be within noise bounds for if it was a noisy day. So what we're going to do is, so that you can run it with the baffle out and get maximum power, we're going to do a map with the baffle out, and then the way this works on this as well is because it's a DB killer rather than more of a baffle, closed-end baffle that's going to create quite a bit of resistance. We'll map it with it out, and then when you put that back in, it's not going to pose that much of a change to the flow of the exhaust gases, therefore it won't richen it up all that much, and therefore it'll be absolutely fine to be able to run this either in or out. But you're always better off having it mapped with the baffles out or DB killers out, and then put them in, because of the fact that all it's going to do is slightly slow the gases down a little bit, which then has the effect of richening them up because it can't compensate. So that's what we're doing. Run's done. It's pretty lean. Top end is not too bad, but the bottom end is pretty lean. Standard practice. We've now read the ECU, built a map, put the map on there, which is actually to a bike that was similar setup, so hopefully it should be close. Other stuff that we've done while we're doing this as well is oxygen sensors now been disabled inside the ECU, so we won't get an engine management light for that, so now this can be unplugged. Certain models, we still need them to be plugged in for like cruise control and stuff, but irrelevant for this one. So that's off. All the other bits and bobs that we don't want on are off as well. Maps on, ignition and all that bits and bobs are all done as well. And we've also now got the engine data hooked up. So we're running Woolwich engine data, and this is where things get a bit exciting because I've got to monitor a few things on the bike while I'm doing the runs. So the runs basically consist of me getting different throttle positions as far through the engine revs as I possibly can. And that's through every one of these columns. Now on the YAMs, this matrix is pretty big, So I've got to go through all of those, and you can see that where it's blue, it's an addition already, and where it's red, it's a deduction already. This should be kind of in some form of pattern. It shouldn't be like 30 bang next to like a -10, because that doesn't necessarily make sense. But this is just the TPS table. So this is throttle position. And then the other table that we have to map to is intake air pressure. So the way it works is there's a changeover point, normally around 10% throttle, whereby it goes from the air pressure, the pressure inside the airbox, to then change where it gets that information from and goes from the throttle position. It's really critical because if you're doing 2 mile an hour or 200 mile an hour, that difference in pressure that's hitting the airbox, albeit on this, the airbox has not got ram air or anything, but those slight, especially that low end, is really sensitive to air pressure. So it's really important to do both the intake air pressure and the throttle position to be able to make perfect fueling and a nice smooth ride. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to roll through all of this, all of the other one, take loads of information, edit it all, throw it back in, rinse and repeat. Let's do it. Right, bike's all done. Finished the mapping. This is the graph, and this is just 100% throttle, but you can see that this is like a bank of 5 runs, 6 runs, and we're back to back, bang on our target, which is really nice. That's 100% throttle, but the case is the same for all throttle positions all the way through. So it's just going to pick up better, feel nicer, be more responsive, more power, more fun, more excitement, more enjoyment. Good times. Oh yeah.